How's it going, everybody? Today I have a really special book to share with you. It is the oldest book in my collection. It is the only Golden Age book that I own. It is a pretty cool Jack Kirby cover. It is from 1946, still a DC book, and it is also a first appearance. This book, I forget how I had originally got turned on to it, but this character had popped up in various stories, various shows, the Lego Batman movie. Here and there, it's always a meme joke character. So it's never been anything that's been too popular, been too serious, but because of that, used a surprisingly large amount when compared with actual real good DC characters. And not only could I not believe that this character went this far back, that his first appearance was 1946, but it also makes it hard to believe now that nobody's figured out really what to do with this character beyond a joke. And given the character's name, power, skill set, I understand why it's a joke, but it still just baffles me that it's been around for this long and nobody's found a good thing to really do to flesh this character out. Now, this character is kind of the equivalent of buying that World's Finest book that has the panel of Batman slapping Robin, where you only buy it because it's known for that, for the meme. That said, I couldn't believe the grade I got this book in, given that it is a Golden Age book. I understand it's not a popular character, and that is why I got it for such a good deal comparatively. But still, 1946, it is a Jack Kirby cover, and it is still a first appearance. That book is Boy Commandos number 15. Now, in case you do not know and do not recognize who that is on the cover, this is the first appearance of the character Crazy Quilt. That is right, Crazy Quilt. This character has popped up as a joke character, a meme, throughout the years. He's been used in a few stories. People have tried to do something unique with him. I think it was Scott Snyder and his Batman Endgame run actually had this character, and instead of anything with lights, actual quilts, anything crazy, he was more working with jeans, splicing, kind of quilting life, and it got away from the actual ridiculousness of the quilt itself. Still was shrouded in a quilt, so the name still kind of stuck with it, but it was a bit of a stretch. Other than that, I know he popped up at the beginning of the Batman Lego movie, more in a list of characters Joker was naming off that were just so ridiculous you wouldn't believe they were a real character if you did not look it up. And this book, for being a 7.5, a pretty awesome yellow cover, again, Jack Kirby, who's one of the most well-known artists in comics, especially for Golden Age, Silver Age. This book I got for about $640 I won in an auction. And to give you an idea of how rare, not Golden Age in general, but this book in particular compared to some Marvel counterparts, I want to say since I've been watching these listings on eBay, this book, I think I've seen it come up 3 times. 2 graded, 1 raw. That's it. It just doesn't happen. And for my viewers that are watching that are not as familiar, any comic person, I know you'll know, but bear with me. Every time you grade a book, at least through CGC, it is added to their registry. So you can keep track of how many copies are graded. Are they a universal blue copy? Are they a green qualified, which means maybe there's a piece cut out of it, an ad, a coupon. Back in the day, a lot of coupons would get clipped out. Any yellow, which is any signature series. Or you have any purple labels, which means the book was restored, whether that's staples, color touch, anything to kind of bring the book back to the glory it was in. For example, Amazing Spider-Man number 1 came out in, I believe, 1963. I believe there's close to 5,000 total copies on the census. There are, I think, close to 4,000 of those are a CGC Universal Blue label. So because of that, it will keep track of every grade of every book they've ever graded through CGC. So you have an idea of how many books are out there, so you can track how scarce or printed a book was, or just how many of them were well taken care of. So the higher the number on the census, the less rare it is. So like I said, Amazing Spider-Man #1, there's about 5,000 total graded copies, close to it, on the CGC census. And not everybody's graded by CGC. There is PGX, there is CBCS, but CGC is kind of what people consider the top tier when it comes to getting your investment back. CBCS, people actually say, is a little harsher on grading, but everybody knows value-wise, you're sending it to CGC pretty much if you want to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. So, 1963, Amazing Spider-Man, almost 5,000 copies on the census, but because of how popular that character is, the same book in about a 7.5 to an 8.0, I think I last checked was $49,000 for an 8.0 of Amazing Spider-Man #1. This book, 1946, almost 20 years earlier, and a 7.5 I got for $640. And there are 31 copies on the CGC census. Just 31. I find that mind-blowing. So yes, this character, it's not a well-known character. It's a joke character. Nobody really cares about him. I just still can't get over that this is a Golden Age book. Awesome artist, awesome cover, awesome grade, and how cheap it went for when compared with a lot of my Marvel Spider-Man books I have up here. And because I have a problem, this book, like I said, I'd only ever seen come up 3 times. 2 graded, 1 raw. This 7.5 copy I got. But also of those 3 copies, I also won the second auction for the second time I ever saw it come up in this beautiful 8.0 copy, 1946 right here. This is just ridiculous to me. So like I said, oldest book in my collection, oldest DC book I've owned. I don't know, because Spider-Man gets pretty expensive, Batman gets pretty expensive. I suppose if I start hunting down some older Batman detective, I might beat this, but you're also spending way more money. A nice close-up of the book. And like I said, this thing is just beautiful. 1946, Jack Kirby, goodness. No matter what I do, there's always just that little glare, but I think we get the gist of it. And there you can see off-white, white pages, 8.0, origin, first appearance of Crazy Quilt. Go around the back there for you, because there is nothing like some 1946 ads. Beautiful, beautiful copy. There you have it. Another episode just going over the coolest, most obscure first appearances I have in my DC collection currently. Still can't believe I own 2 copies of this in these great grades for Golden Age books. So thank you guys for tuning in.